If you thought that elected MAGA Republicans couldn't possibly be more brazenly corrupt and embarrassingly sycophantic, guess again. Not only are many of them publicly begging and demanding that unelected MAGA billionaire Elon Musk become Speaker of the House, the current Republican Speaker of the House said on camera in front of reporters that he offered his job to Elon Musk. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to talk about in this video. There's so many issues with the MAGA movement, and in particular, their elected representatives, the MAGA Republican elected officials. But in many ways, it's exceeding expectations. Like they are moving so quickly and so egregiously into levels of corruption and sycophancy that were previously unexplored. And it was bad enough in that movement a year ago. But this is truly unprecedentedly pathetic and corrupt. Here's the current Republican Speaker of the House telling reporters that he spoke with unelected MAGA billionaire Elon Musk during the government shutdown negotiations, in tandem with Donald Trump, by the way, the president-elect, at least on paper, and he basically offered Musk his own job.
As well. Elon Musk and I talked within about an hour ago, and we talked about the extraordinary challenges of this job. And I said, hey, you want to be Speaker of the House? I don't know. He said, this may be the hardest job in the world. I think it is. But we're going to get through this. We are going to unify this.
So during a looming government shutdown, which Elon Musk effectively triggered by tweeting, I think it was dozens, I think the number got to about 100 times about a bipartisan continuing resolution, and many of his tweets were blatant lies, mis and disinformation. I mean, he was just tweeting bullshit to begin with. This unelected MAGA billionaire has wormed his way, or has been invited like a vampire, into the negotiations by elected representatives, by elected politicians, into a government funding bill. So he says in this conversation, in a different clip, that he spoke to Donald Trump. Now, that I get, even though Donald Trump is not the president. He is the president-elect. He is the leader of the Republican Party, and he was elected. I despise Donald Trump. I think he's a threat to democracy, but he won the Electoral College vote. He won the popular vote. I understand why, even though he has not been seated as president, you would be speaking to the leader of your party, the president-elect. But then about the same time, you're on the phone with Elon Musk, who is not the president-elect, at least on paper, who has not won an election, who is not an elected representative, and you effectively offer him your job. Hey, do you want to be Speaker of the House? And some might say, well, Mike Johnson was kidding. But was he? Was he really? I think it was a sincere offer, even though I'm sure he doesn't want Elon Musk to take his job. And the reason I believe that is because many elected MAGA Republicans have been publicly demanding that Elon Musk take that job, have been begging Elon Musk to assert himself and effectively take the mantle of Speaker of the House from Mike Johnson. Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I'd be open to supporting Elon Musk for Speaker of the House. Doge can only be truly accomplished by reining in Congress to enact real government efficiency. The establishment needs to be shattered just like it was yesterday. This could be the way. I want you to think about this. Doge, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's unofficial Department of Government Efficiency, which is not, enacted by federal statute. It would be, at least on paper, at least as of now, an external advisory committee. She says, listen, basically, Congress should make way for Doge. Elected representatives in a body that is constitutionally mandated, Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate, should make way, should be reined in by an external, unelected MAGA billionaire. And to confer legitimacy upon him, Marjorie Taylor Greene says he should become Speaker of the House. Doge can only be accomplished by reining in Congress. Rein in Congress, unelected MAGA billionaires. Wait a minute, I thought you guys were interested in draining the swamp. Sadly, it's not just Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's also people like Mike Lee, based Mike Lee, of the United States Senate, supposedly a constitutional scholar. In many ways, this guy, Mike Lee, is the most pathetic member of the United States Senate. I think in many ways worse than Ted Cruz. Is he the craziest? No. Is he the dumbest? Absolutely not. But this is a guy who is so, even again, his Twitter handle, based Mike Lee. Watch Mike Lee in action. He's the guy at the lunchroom who's a loser, wildly unpopular. Nobody likes him. Nobody finds him interesting. And he is just so desperate, so thirsty to kiss the ass of the popular kids that he will do whatever is necessary, even though they all think he's a loser. Again, in my opinion, worse than Ted Cruz. I'm going to play you several clips. This is Mike Lee publicly begging either Elon Musk or Vivek Ramaswamy to become the Speaker of the House on Fox News and in interviews with other conservative pundits like Benny Johnson, even though he says that he's a friend of the current Republican Speaker, Mike Johnson.
Historic moment, it's fallen apart. And as a result, somebody's going to have to lose their job over this. I don't think the Speaker is going to remain in power. That's my prediction. I'm not in the House. If I'm correct in that, and I think I am, we need bold new leadership, outside leadership, and I think it needs to be a Doge Speaker. It needs to be either Vivek Ramaswamy or it needs to be Elon Musk. Look, I was over here, historic moment.
So pathetic, but there's more. There's so more. He won't shut up about this.
For two people in our entire caucus, in the Senate and in the House.
So you're officially nominating right here on Jesse Watters Primetime either Vivek or Elon to be House Speaker. Doesn't have to be a politician, could be anyone, can be Speaker. Do they want that job?
I don't know. Look, I'm a little bit skeptical. Elon is kind of busy. He's got like 54 companies that he's running and trying to get to the moon. I suspect Vivek is a little bit more open to it than Elon. I'll take either one of them. Vivek, Elon, if you're watching, please sign up. America needs you.
All right. Well,
America needs you. What a God, this guy. I mean, you just know that he is the one that they make fun of. I know Ted Cruz is the least liked member of the Senate, but that's because of his smugness, right? That's because of his just general unlikability. But Ted Cruz is formidable in a way that Mike Lee is not. Mike Lee would be like the little yappy dog to Ted Cruz. Like he would be Ted Cruz's little dog, Ted Cruz's sidekick, right? How pathetic do you have to be for something like that? One more clip from this particular exchange between Mike Lee and Jesse Watters on Fox News, and then we'll play another one just to really drive it home of how widespread or increasingly widespread this sentiment is.
Well, I don't think Johnson likes you now. Next time you guys see each other walking through the halls of Congress, he's going to probably kick you in the leg.
He is a good man. He's a friend. He's been a friend for a long time. Great person. He's lost control of this process. And I don't know how he can remain in power. We need Elon or Vivek as Speaker.
He's a friend, and you just threw him overboard. Man, politics is tough, Senator Lee.
Well, it is, especially when you try to jam an entire country with the 1,500-page bill that nobody's read, and you try to trick them and bully them into doing it. Some of us take that personally, Jesse.
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. I think it's
so performative. And he, by the way, when based Mike Lee talks, like watch him like during Senate, hearings or in interviews, like his lips tremble, like he's always on the verge of like he's about to cry. The reason that I have such contempt for Mike Lee, again, perhaps more than any Republican senator, is just how pathetic he comes off, number one. Number two, this is a guy who used to, again, to the extent that this matters, to the extent that, I find this palatable, he was a principled conservative, or at least pitched himself that way. I'm not a conservative, so even a principled conservative, I have enormous issue with on policy, but at least he stood on business, as people would say. Now, he's like so many other so-called principled conservatives who gleefully cast it all aside and tries to lean into the memery. Again, based Mike Lee, using internet lingo. He is so desperate to be seen as, basically like a Gen Z ambassador, a memer. Like, you are an elected member of the United States Senate, you're a constitutional scholar, and you're acting like a fucking child. Like, the contempt that I have for this man is extraordinary. And his deference to these unelected billionaires is incredibly gross, incredibly gross. I was going to play another one of him, going on Benny Johnson's show, again, calling for Vivek and Elon to become Speaker of the House. But quite frankly, I don't want to do it because I might vomit on camera. Rand Paul, libertarian Rand Paul. The Speaker of the House need not be a member of Congress. Nothing would disrupt the swamp more, try that again, than electing Elon Musk. Think about it. Nothing's impossible. Not to mention the joy at seeing the collective establishment, aka the Uniparty, lose their ever-loving minds. So again, just to own the libs, Mr. Drain the Swamp wants to create the swamp, wants to let the swamp run roughshod. I mean, just wants to create the Everglades in the United States Congress. This unelected billionaire who already wields enormous power simply by virtue of his wealth wants to put him at the heart of United States politics, wants to put him second in line to the presidency. And by the way, before people comment, because I've had people do this before, yes, the Speaker of the House is second in line to the presidency, not third, because the president isn't in line. The president is already president, right? So the president is not first in line to the presidency. The president is the president by definition. The vice president of the United States, that's second or first in line to the presidency. The vice president of the United States. Speaker of the House is second, okay? President is already president. First in line to the presidency is the vice president. Second in line, Speaker of the House. They want to give that sort of power to Elon Musk. And what Jesse Waters said is true. There's a reason that this notion is spreading, it's proliferating, because you don't have to be a member of Congress to be Speaker of the House. There's no constitutional provision which demands it, which is why when before the election, which is why when Republicans were having issues anointing a speaker after Kevin McCarthy was ousted from that role by his fellow Republicans and before Mike Johnson became speaker, so many elected Republicans were saying, let's make Donald Trump Speaker of the House. He was a former president. He was not yet president-elect because the election hadn't happened. He hadn't won it yet. But he wasn't a member of Congress. The rules are very clear. Joe Schmo, you can make anyone, any unelected person, the president or the Speaker of the House. Would Elon Musk go for it? I don't know. I don't put anything past this guy. I really don't. Because it would unlock a different level of power that Elon Musk has not attained yet. It certainly would own the libs. Like, it would generate a lot of attention, and that's really the currency that matters most to Elon Musk. I wouldn't put it past them to try. Now, I doubt he'd go for it unless he were confident he could win. Right? That, I think if anything keeps Elon Musk from ever throwing his hat in the ring, I think it would be that he wasn't sure he could win and so wouldn't want to go through the embarrassment of attempting it. But it could be a way for him to further enrich himself. Think about it. His net worth has effectively doubled since Trump became president-elect, since the election, in a matter of nearly 2 months, a month and a half. He's gone from about $200 billion to $400 billion. And that is seen as a consequence, it's interpreted as a consequence of his proximity to power. Oh my God, he's going to be very, very close with the future president of the United States. And so that increases, stock confidence and market confidence. But what if he's also the Speaker of the House? And he's the one who has the power to bring legislation forth in the United States House of Representatives. He would be second in line to the presidency. Now, then the question becomes, well, what happens if you put somebody as Speaker of the House who is ineligible to become president because under the constitutional requirements to be president, you have to be a native-born American. And Elon Musk, South African. I don't know. That could be a constitutional crisis if that were to happen and something were to happen to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and then the second in line for the presidency is somebody who's constitutionally ineligible to hold that role. I don't know what the hell happens. Maybe it skips and then goes to Senate President pro tem. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a very popular and increasingly popular sentiment on the right to make Elon Musk Speaker of the House to further entrench power in this unelected MAGA billionaire's hands. And it's so bad that not only is the current highest ranking elected Republican, Mike Johnson, the current Speaker of the House, constantly talking to him, consulting him, Elon, is this okay, Elon? Can I do this continuing resolution, Elon? Am I a good boy? But also, Elon, do you want to be Speaker of the House? Everybody's been asking if you want this job, and they really want you. I mean, I'll give it to you, Elon. I'll give you the job. Of course I will. You just say the word, Elon. So pathetic. This is where we are. It's a cult. It's an authoritarian cult of personality with intense oligarchic impulses. And that's why when so many people say, you know what, listen, there's a real populist sentiment within the MAGA movement, people are full of shit. There are the aesthetics of populism, but what people want out of Elon Musk and how some of them really want to just make him God Emperor in ways that they also want to make Trump God Emperor. That sort of impulse, that's not populist, and that's authoritarian, that's oligarchic, and it's incredibly anti-American. And we have a lot more to say about Elon Musk in other videos because he, whether we like it or not, he's no longer just an eccentric billionaire. He's no longer just an eccentric billionaire with shitty political views. He is now at the heart of American politics. And Donald Trump, his puppet, has not even been inaugurated yet. So I imagine it's going to be considerably worse as time goes on. We have to keep an eye on it. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.